The show starts in 1 minute.
Please remember to replace the speaker on the post when you leave the theater. And now, on with the show.
Hello and welcome to episode 94 of Saturday Matinee Theatre, brought to you by your friends of the LONGBOX CRUSADE. We are back in Casa de Vega in our recording studio set up in one of the many unused rooms in the Vega home. I'm your host, Jared Ulrich, the yard sale artist. Joining me, as always, it's the Philip to my James, is Pat Sampson, a.k.a. DJ Cristados. How are we feeling today, loyal friend Cristados?
I am doing good today, Jared. I just got some documents signed. I'm going to protect them with my life. That's why I got the shotgun right now. So if anybody needs some help, I'm really good with this gun. I've been practicing. I got good aim. Let's do it.
I like your moxie. Mm-hmm. And I like how apparently back in the day, all you had to do was physically have those papers. Like that's it. That's all you had to do. All right. And joining me is our enthusiastic butler, Ronaldo. My brother Jason always ends up with butler duty for some reason. Is the Weasel Skull. Welcome back, Jason.
I'm Ronaldo and I feel so good. You know, this is hard work being the butler here. And apparently you don't even pay me enough to buy a comb for my troll doll like hair. But you know, I gotta say it's an interesting gig, man. It is exciting. I do have one recommendation. I think we need to put something to secure that little painting / door, because that painting looks an awful like a door, and apparently if you just lean on it, you can find out it's a door. So it's not going to take much for this secret to be, revealed if we're not too careful. I'm just the butler, but that's my recommendation.
I think it's a good one. We also have with us the evil land baron himself, J.A. Marsden, a.k.a. Delvin the Dark Web Williams. How's the evil land grab business going these days, Delvin?
Not too good. And I feel like I'm just ignoring all of the tenets of AC/DC because these dirty deeds are getting pretty damn expensive.
Well done. Well done. He's been sitting on that joke all week. I
just thought of it. It just came up. I'm very proud, though. I am. I'll admit it.
Well, we do have a guest for the show. It is a Crusaders Club member and longtime friend of the show. It is Ezra J. Gallo. Welcome back. Have you been on a Saturday Matinee Theater before, be it a Batman or a Holmes or a Flash Gordon?
I have not been on Saturday Matinee Theater, but yeah, I am a big Bat and Holmes fan for sure.
Excellent. Well, let's find out what you think about Zorro, because I got the first time guest question for you. Do you have a first memory of Zorro, like where you first remember encountering the character, and do you have a favorite version?
Yeah, so my first memory of Zorro is actually when I was very young. We had a very large oak tree in our front yard, and my grandfather built a swing that looked like a horse and hung that over the oak tree. And then my grandmother went out and she bought me a Lone Ranger outfit and a Zorro outfit. And I would ride on that horse swing, being Zorro or the Lone Ranger. So that's probably the first time I ever knew what Zorro was, because of that little outfit my grandmother got me.
I like that.
And my favorite Zorro?
Favorite version.
My favorite Zorro is Banderas.
Nice.
I got to go with Antonio Banderas.
Awesome choice. I just recently did a book page sketch. The original is still available at Yard Sale Artist X Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for picking that one, Ezra. All right. With all that and my shameless plug out of the way, it's only $40, and that includes free shipping if you're in the U.S. Pat, can you describe this show for first-time listeners? And if you're a first-time listener, welcome.
Well, Jared, I am glad you asked. Saturday Matinee Theater is a retro review show brought to you by the LONGBOX CRUSADE, where we'll be taking you back to the past with some potentially overlooked retro awesomeness in the realm of television, movie serials, or films. Basically, if it's vintage and it's kind of forgotten, we're going to dig it up. On this episode, we will continue our dive into 1937's Zorro serial, Zorro Rides Again. In 1937's Zorro series was produced by Sol C. Siegel. It starred John Carroll as Zorro, Helen Christian as Joyce, Reed Howells as Philip, Duncan Ronaldo as Ronaldo, Noah Berry as J.A. Marston, and Richard Alexander as El Lobo. So grab your 6-shooters, oil your whip, and ride into adventure. But don't forget, swing that Gatling gun around to have some fun.
Okay, before we hand it over to Delvin for this episode's info, let's take a look, or in this case, a listen to a commercial we've been playing at about the time this episode was released back in 1937. This will help us get into the right time frame of mind, if you will, and transport us back to the 30s. For this episode's commercial retro rewind, we have None Such Coffee.
What? Keeping the coffee in the icebox?
Yes, Mr. Jones, it's a new kind of coffee, roasted by a new secret process. Hence, this new None Such Coffee has a different flavor, a flavor preserved by vacuum packing, the flavor retained by refrigeration after the jar has been opened. Just taste it. You can't miss that delicate aroma, that clean, mellow taste. Yes, in cooking, the way to a man's heart is most of all through the coffee pot. In every jar, you'll find 3 special pointers, valuable in all methods of making coffee. Try new None Such Coffee now. Use half the jar. If not 100% satisfied, get all your money back from your grocer without argument. Special for movie week, only 28 cents a pound, plus 3 cents refundable deposit on the jar.
So, what did we think of None Such Coffee? We start with Ezra, who likes a good fresh ground coffee bean. I don't know if that's true.
I don't drink coffee. I've had coffee once in my life, so this was not for me. But I thought it was interesting. You know, it's just a commercial, but the thing that really stood out to me was that at the end of it, it says that there's the jar that the coffee comes in has a deposit, and you can get money back if you bring the jar of coffee back. And it's funny to me because apparently that was a thing to do in 1937 and also now, because now we've gotten to where people have to bring all their containers back and get deposits for them and stuff once again.
It's 10 cents in Michigan if you want to do a big run up there.
Oh man, we can get like a postal truck.
Yeah, like a Mother's Day, the mother of all mail days. These Seinfeld jokes are for me and Ezra. It looks like Pat too. All right, Delvin, you enjoy the coffee. I've seen you drink the coffee. I know you like the coffee. Some people call you coffee black. Nobody actually calls you that, but I made it up once and it kind of stuck. So, None Such Coffee.
I mean, they do call me black, and it's accurate, but I digress. The thing that I probably smiled at the most, it was like, and inside of the None Such Coffee, there's instructions that tells you, how to filter the coffee, and like the lady hands it to the man, and I'm surprised the man's like, silly women, men don't make coffee.
But there's a paradox here because we don't read instructions either.
Right. Yeah. No actual like real man reads instructions. You just figure it out, baby. Like it all comes out in the end, right?
And now you know why there's no more No Such Coffee.
and also, you know why, like, you've seen nothing constructed in my house because, oh my God. Anyway, so that was probably like the funniest tidbit. It was interesting, the idea of the vacuum sealing, though, and keeping the refrigerator to keep the coffee beans the freshest that they could possibly be. So I did like the idea of that, some fresh coffee beans to make some nice fresh coffee. And Ezra, don't drink coffee, man. I'm always marvel at people that do stuff like that. Like that's cool. Like
I do straight cocaine.
but no heroin.
You are on active duty. That's why.
I don't drink coffee. I never have either, Delvin. It's just
I started like my coffee habit started back in Vandenberg Air Force Base back about 2002, 2003 time frame, and I would go and I would drink like some of that watery Maxwell House coffee. And 30 minutes later, the results of what would happen was, you know what? Let's just go to the next person.
Pat, you like the coffee. Lord knows you like your coffee. you'll inconvenience anyone at any time to get that cup of coffee.
True.
So talk to me about none such.
Well, Jerry, at this point, I don't think it's none such your business.
You calm down.
How I like my coffees and what I do with my coffee is my own business. None such as yours. You know what I mean? I was surprised that they're putting it in the fridge. I guess, do people still do that with their coffee now? I don't know. Should I be doing that with the coffee I get?
Only if you want the freshest of coffee, Pat. I mean, if you want that unfresh coffee, leave it out of the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I guess I know. I didn't read the instructions, so I don't really know how to properly do the coffee. And I just look at Melinda and I think, where's my coffee? And I don't know why she's not making it for me.
We'll look into it for you, Pat. I believe that leaves Jason.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just trying to figure out if I could find out whatever happened to None Such Coffee. And
I've been doing the research in the background too.
It's kind of a little bit of a mystery. I don't know what I found some like old instructions and things like that on how to use None Such Coffee. And
well, I'll tell you what I did learn that I think is interesting. I don't know when they faded, but I do know when they came back because they are back in business. And really, it's like an individual small business company that just adopted the None Such name, brought it back to life in 2023. And I was just reading their little history. And it said that they started grinding and brewing their own coffee during the lockdowns in 2020 and just kind of got good at it and decided to make a business out of it. So they brought back the name None Such Coffee, even though it had been dead for a while. Lord knows if we didn't hear about it in the 80s, because like coffee commercials were just ubiquitous in the 80s. Like we still could probably sing you every jingle to each of them. And there was no None Such. So anyway, I'm sorry, Jason. I hijacked you because I was excited about what I found out. But back to you.
No, I'm glad you did. That's what I was trying to do a little research on my own, do my independent research. But yeah, as far as the commercial goes, I mean, it was interesting. We kind of talked about it off air, like, well, this was before TV time. Where did they show it? And the thing that stood out for me was that they had a movie special, right? So if you saw the advertisement at the movie, you could go in and get a special deal on your None Such Coffee. So I thought that was interesting how they're advertising apparently during the films. So, and then, it's, I guess this was kind of pioneering technology to have this vacuum sealed product that you had to keep in the freezer. It's just a kind of an interesting little throwback. I too still enjoy my coffee. I like the Franciscan brands of coffee. They have those little flavor ones, get a little butter toffee flavor, in there. Good stuff.
I think it's a really good idea to bring back the name, but at the same time, who was hankering for None Such in 2023? Like, who heard that and was like, ooh, None Such Coffee?
Right, because we are gentlemen hovering around 40. Some of us across the line don't know how he's still alive. I mean, hovering around 50. And I don't think any of us had heard of None Such.
I broke.
Jason busted through the
barrier. I broke was that the Carmen line?
But that None Such name, I don't think any of us knew it.
I wonder if the tins or something are around and maybe antique or
there
something.
There are. I saw when I was looking online.
Maybe that could be.
You can still
I'm sure Jared could get a lot of money for one of those to some coffee head on eBay.
That's right. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking if we hadn't heard about it, it had to be dead by the 80s. Which means if I had to get, and this is pure guesswork, I'm thinking it probably phased out once Folgers and Maxwell House kind of took over, which I think was in the 50s. We had a real interesting conversation around this. Some of us, after a recording we did the other week, we were talking about these commercials that we do for this show and talking about commercials of the 30s. And it was interesting because we had to remind everybody of these 30s commercials we talk about. Like, you had to go to the movie theater to see them. There was almost nobody had TVs. One of the neat facts that we dug up was I think Jason will remember, it was something like 9% of households had a TV in the 50s. But by the 60s, it was 90%. Between 50s to 60s,
oh yeah,
from 9% to 90% TVs in the home.
Blew up.
So these commercials we're talking about, you saw them at the theater. That's where you used to see your quote unquote TV commercials. So anyway, just fun stuff we were talking about. And now that we're in our 1930s mindset, let's give back to Delvin for this episode's info.
Absolutely. Chapter 6 was titled The Fatal Shot. There's an exclamation point. I had to express that. It was released estimated about November 20th, 1937. The records for this one's kind of been lost to time. The directors were William Whitney and John English. The writers were Frank Adrian, Morgan Cox, Barry Shipman, John Rathmell, and Ronald Davison. As a reminder, all 12 episodes are available on YouTube. We highly encourage you to watch this episode before proceeding with this podcast, because not only is it just more fun that way, but Jared is about to give a synopsis about this episode, and we're going to discuss it. There's going to be some spoilers heading your way, so if you haven't watched this episode, we recommend you pause here, go check it out on YouTube, and then come back to join our discussion. It's about 17 minutes per episode, so not that big of a time demand. For those of you who are watching along with us, we'd love to hear your insights. Don't forget to give us your comments. Contact at longboxcrusade.com, at Longbox Crusade on X, Facebook, Instagram, or Blue Sky, or leave a voice message at 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the Gatling gun.
And with that, let's turn it over to Jared for the episode summary.
When we last saw Zorro, he had just crashed a plane as it was taxiing, but don't worry, he's fine. Kind of like when Batman crashed his plane in his serial. Actually, that was a lot weirder. But anyway, Zorro gets away with the land deeds that Joyce and Philip need to continue building the railroad. The evil Marsden radios Lobo and gives him some outstanding direction. Zorro, Zorro, Zorro. Can't you get rid of that man? Which was his only line in this whole episode, by the way. And that's when Lobo realizes that there seems to be some kind of connection between Zorro and Joyce and Philip. So El Lobo and the gang simply ride into town and kidnap the brother and sister. They really want Zorro, so they tie Philip up in the middle of a fort and send Joyce with a note for Zorro. Either show up by 6 or Philip is dead. Joyce shows the note to James, who takes such glee in duping Joyce, much like Batman did to Linda. Anyway, and he sends her on a wild goose chase. Meanwhile, James transforms into Zorro and has Ronaldo bring a wagon full of dynamite to the fort where they use the explosives to blast their way in. And Zorro gets on that Gatling gun, but he doesn't shoot it. Instead, he's taken by surprise by one of Lobo's men, and the two of them fight until Lobo has Zorro dead to rights with his pistol and pulls the trigger. This one was a little more fun than the last one, boys. I will say that. But you know what? I'll let you guys weigh on it. We're going to do our 2 rounds. You know, maybe you got a high, maybe you got a low, maybe you got a what the. We'll find out. We'll start with Ezra in round 1. Welcome to Zorro.
Honestly, my favorite high point of the thing is nothing crazy, but it's when Joyce says El Lobo is going to kill him. And James' response is just, it certainly seems that way. It's like he sounds like he's asking for some great coupon or
Ezra
something.
Took mine, man. Ezra took mine.
Totally dupes her, and it's just that was great.
I thought that was I like that part too. And he's just chilling here with his foot up on the table. All it was missing is some none such coffee.
I got serious Bruce Wayne Linda vibes on that. Like he was so giddy about tricking her, and she's like, "They're gonna murder my brother," and he's like, "Well, maybe."
It certainly seems that way.
Got like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh, James does not give a foxtrot, man. He just does not. Oh my goodness, Jason, keep the discussion going. As you said, Ezra stole your very casual. James was your high as well.
Yeah, he took. Yeah, that was my high point too. This is kind of more of an observation. Oh, actually, it's a prediction for the cliffhanger because Jared, you said it, man. It looked pretty dire for our boy. It looked like
the best one yet, I think.
But I got to thinking about it, and Lobo can't really kill him outright because he needs to get that deed. And if Zorro doesn't have that deed on him and he kills him, he's kind of out of luck. So he's got to keep him alive to at least make sure he gets that deed. That's just my observation. I don't know if that's a high or a low. I guess it's a high. It was a good,
I guess, yeah.
It was a good cliffhanger.
I'm glad you kept up with the deeds because, man, I just can't. I cannot remember who has the deed at any given time. So Zorro has them now.
I don't know. I'm going to guess that Zorro didn't take.
Philip has them on him.
Yeah,
in the fort, tied to the stake.
No, I don't know. Well, because
so you leave it with Reynaldo. I don't know.
They were in the They were in the mail. He got them.
It's kind of like radium.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's kind of like radium. It's just a plot point. It's just, no one cares where the deeds are.
He got them to Joyce in the mail, but then they took them downtown, and then Lobo kidnapped them, thereby taking them. I've gone cross-eyed. Delvin, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I would be remiss if I didn't say deeds nuts.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Now, good plan by the bad guys, by the way. It was very like
good work. He's doing good henchman work at this point.
It was Spider-Man-esque, right? Like, okay, every time I see Spider-Man around, there's this Peter Parker dude that be taking pictures and stuff. So if you want to get in touch with Spider-Man, maybe get in touch with a dude who just so happens to be there taking these weird grainy pics. And no one figures out that he's Spider-Man. I more and more, I just appreciate Brian Michael Bendis for just eliminating like 99% of the superhero identities, because like I thought that a lot of times when Zorro's like, would you just tell your folks that you're Zorro? But just like you said, maybe he just gets off on it. Like,
he clearly does.
Like, hey, you go this way and I'll go this way, and maybe one of us will find Zorro.
No, damn well there ain't nothing that way.
Like, ain't nothing that way. She's just riding off. Like,
she got tears just streaming back this way. She's riding as fast as she can on that horse.
But so my high is I'll give the bad guys credit for a very good, simple plan. We are going to like go after the people that Zorro keeps protecting. That makes total sense to me. I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too. Again, like I said, Lobo is doing some excellent henchman work. Apparently Marsden only has to give him one sentence of guidance, and he came up with a pretty good one.
Jared, it's called stage presence.
All right. Zorro. What do you say? I'm going to quote it now. Zorro. Can't you get rid of that man? My man drew a paycheck for dropping one line in this episode. All right. Pat, drop me one line in this episode.
Philip with a shotgun.
Was Philip rocking the shotgun in this one?
Philip was rocking the shot. He came out after the guy got shot.
Yeah,
he grabbed the shotgun and just down. Yeah, it's like the first time I've seen Philip actually do something, kind of actiony.
Yeah,
and
that was
cool. You go, Philip.
Like, I forgot about that. Got hung up in the final battle. I forgot there was a pretty good midtown shootout.
Yeah, it was a big town. But yeah, like everybody's involved in the town too. It was like,
I'm shooting somebody.
I didn't know who was who after for a while.
I don't think it mattered.
Like a big gunfight, and then guys are getting shot, but then Joyce and Philip, they come standing. Oh, is there a gunfight out here? What's going on out here? Bullets are flying, and they're like, oh, what's going on out here? The middle guy gets shot, so they pull him in, and then he grabs the shotgun and starts, going to town on it. And I'm like, yeah, you go. And I thought it was a good hero moment for Philip.
That's right. Action Philip. I like that. And we're back to the top of the order. Ezra, what else you got in your notes?
So this one is more of an observation, and it is we as a society just cannot seem to learn that investment bankers can't be trusted. Investment bankers, people like that, because apparently they were villains in 1937. They are villains in 2025, and no one has ever figured that out. So
the besmirchment of investment bankers continue.
We just lost our investment banker audience. Thanks, Ezra.
Well, I do what I can.
I think the problem is we only hear about investment bankers when they make the news, and they only make the news when they've done something terrible. Like, I feel bad for the guys that are like doing it right, you know, but they're like, oh, this Marston guy screwed.
I just took my 8%, man. That's all I
did. But yeah. If there's shady investments to be made, there's people there to make them. Oh man, Jason, are you invested in Marston's Railroad?
Oh man. Marston's Railroad, boy, that's a risky investment right now. I'm going to give, I guess it's kind of like a what the. Number one, once Zorro got up on that Gatling gun, all his problems should have been solved.
Right? Oh, I wanted it so bad. I mean? But there was a voice in the back of my head going, this is 1937. He's not going to lay all these fools out.
I'm just lay them out, man. They were just all wide open down there. Try to avoid hitting Philip if you can, but if not, But
you ever seen the end of Rambo 4?
Oh man, exactly. But then he gets in a fist fight with that dude up on top. He kind of like Mario Brothers down like 4 levels, and the whole way, like Lobo's got his gun out, and it's like he's trying to get a bead on him, but he's afraid he might shoot his own guy. And I'm watching this fight, and I'm like, I think your guy's winning. I think you just holster that thing and let this guy just whoop up on Zorro. So, Zorro, you need to learn to throw hands a little bit better, I think, is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, struggling with El Lobo is one thing. Struggling with that guy.
The lackey. Yeah, some lackey.
Although, I will tack on kudos to the stuntmen for like taking those falls down the thing. All that. I was like,
impressive.
All right, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, and maybe I'll play with this in fun facts at some point if I haven't already, but I want to say this serial might have won some kind of award for stunts. I'll get back to you. And I'll get back to Delvin.
But at least give Zorro credit. He didn't go out like Beatman, right? I mean, like at least
he was still conscious at the end.
Right. He was still conscious. And I liked his plan too. Like he did some reconnaissance, he got there as quickly as possible, did some recon. Had an idea, already had his Alfred ready with the dynamite, and then had the plan. He jumped off, and then like the thing hit the gate, and it caused a big stir and an ambush. So that was cool. And Philip is the brother, right? Who's like the minority deed owner.
Yeah,
I liked his beat even as he was tied up, because he was tied up and he was stoic. And even like he was about to face the firing squad, and he was stoic. But then like as soon as he saw Zorro, he was kind of like, yay. It was just a subtle face change when he was like, oh, thank God. I really didn't want to die. I was being stoic about the whole thing, like a man should be, but I'm very happy that I'm not dead right now. So I appreciated his beat. I thought it was very courageous.
And then James showed up and he was like, oh, look who lived. Oh, meanwhile, Joyce is just riding a horse crying somewhere trying to save her brother.
She's still heading down that trail in the wrong direction.
And he's loving it. That's the best part, is the look of pure glee on his face. And you know what? We're going to wrap this up with Mr. Pure Glee on his face himself. Pat, you get the last and multiple words.
Oh, good. I appreciate that. How many people were standing there waiting to shoot Philip? It went through like a big lineup of people. I'm like,
it's like at least 8 dudes there.
Are they all bad shots?
Yeah, like, why do you need that many guys?
Why do you need that many guys to shoot him?
Maybe it was like old school firing squad rules where only like 2 of them actually have bullets, so they're never actually sure who killed this guy in cold blood. You have to have although when you pull the trigger, you're going to know if it was you or not.
If you're a good shot, you're going to know you hit him or not. You're still shooting a guy, whether it's blank or whatever. Yeah, I was just like, wow, that's a lot of people to do that to him. I think for Jason's answer of why he couldn't fight that good, he was holding on to that wagon on the way down, man. He had to hold on to that thing for dear life as he was, that thing was joggling and up and all around. So his hands were kind of, I'd be sore.
I think he was tired.
Yeah.
That would be exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of a cool stunt too.
It was.
Yeah, the show does neat little stunts, especially you consider it's 1937.
I didn't know how he was going to do it. I figured, okay, he's got the wagon. He's probably going to let it go down. But I'm like, well, then what? Then he's got to run, and they're going to see him, and he's going to get Gatling gunned. Who didn't get excited when you saw that Gatling gun?
I got so excited that,
and I'm like, woo!
And then we didn't shoot anybody. I was like, oh,
yeah. And I was like, oh, but what a cool ending. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, man, this is a Flash Gordon level cliffhanger for me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I'm into it. I am into it. All right, we emptied all your bullets there.
I think so. I got some Zorro fights, but
okay.
We all know what he did.
Let's be nice to our guest and see if he has anything else to leave on the table. You got anything else, Ezra? Or you good?
You said the little cool stunts. I really enjoyed. You mentioned it's 1937 when he is riding on the bottom of the wagon, just like holding on. That might be the first time anybody ever did something like that. People do hold on to the bottom of a car or something all the time now, but back then people were probably like, "Whoa, this is amazing."
That's right.
Kind of reminded me of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I was just saying, Raiders, Indiana Jones, holding on. Yeah, those Lucas built that whole franchise off of serials, so chances are he saw this one. Who knows? All right, folks. With all that discussion out of the way, it's time to get in the fun facts with Jared. And today we're going to talk about Helen Christian. She plays Joyce on the show. She's off riding and crying even as we speak. And Zorro's loving it. Anyway, she's a Washingtonian debutante and the daughter of a socially prominent politician from Helena, Montana. She abandoned show business, which I figured out because I was looking at her IMDb and it stops pretty abruptly after this. She abandoned show business in favor of marrying Robert Bishop, a Pennsylvania newspaper magnate, and aide to Illinois Governor Henry Horner. The nuptials took place in May of 1939, where the bride was appearing on Broadway in I Must Love Someone, a play that featured another former serial lead, Scott Kalk, a.k.a. Scott Colton, and he was in the serial Secret Agent X9, which sounds amazing. We may have to cover it on the show. I want to watch Secret Agent X9 and learn more about Scott Colton, a.k.a. Scott Kolk. So anyway, that's Helen Christian. She kind of got in the movie industry and then got right back out again to go wife it up to a powerful dude.
That's not a word you hear often anymore. Magnate. I want to be a magnate.
Yeah, me too.
I'm bringing it back. That's my aspiration now.
I'm
to be a magnate. I love Lamp.
I was waiting for Pat to break out into Sister Christian,
Oh, because
that was her name. Yeah.
Oh, Helen. Yeah, I'm still hurt.
The wounds run deep.
Yes, they do.
Okay, let's get into our whip snap ratings for this episode. As a reminder to our audience, if we give it 5 cracks of the whip, we loved it. 4, it was very good. 3, it was good. And 2, it was just okay. And 1, I did not like it. We had some low scores on the last Zorro serial. So let's see if we can't pick those up a bit. We'll start with Jason.
I'm going to give it a 5. I think coming out of the gate, this one, you said it, it was kind of a low. I didn't know if that dude was going to drive that plane all the way back to town or what his plan was. But, we kind of pick up there. We get kind of this desperate chase, which I had me leaning forward. Like, how's he going to escape all these men? He gets out by the hair of his chinny chin. Lobo comes up with this plan to kidnap the brother and sister. There's a big gunfight in the middle. And then, it's kind of the funny, let's send sister off on a snipe hunt. Well, that made me laugh. And then, like you said, we had some great stunts, some great action, and one heck of a cliffhanger at the end of this one. So I think I got all I wanted and a little bit more. 5 from me.
All right. Jason setting that bar high. And it's Delvin's turn. Gonna lower that bar, get that bar low.
But you won't have to lower that much. I was impressed. I mean, the thing that you want in that serial, besides, one, you want a little bit of action, right? Or something that keeps you intrigued. And, to call a little Willem Dafoe, there was a firefight. So, there's that. And so that was cool. And then at the end, it looked like El Lobo had him dead to rights and just bang. And like, dang, whoa, what happened here? So it was super intriguing. Like I'm giving it a 4. But like if for whatever reason everyone else is like high on the train, I might be convinced to bump it up. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, if it was 1937 and I'm watching that in the theater as a kid and I got a nickel in my pocket, I'm like, I might get some popcorn. I see that ending, I'm like, nope, I'm saving this nickel for next week. I gots to know, son. I gots to know. All right, Ezra, it's your turn, sir. 1 to 5.
You know, at first I was going through it and I was thinking it was going to be a 3 for me. You know, it was okay. I was enjoying it, but, you know, it was good. But then in the context, it's 1937. This is stuff that no one's seen. It's action that back then is amazing. So then I was stuck on a 4. But then that last scene, that last frame, the cliffhanger is great. So I'm gonna give it the 5. I love a cliffhanger, and it really brought the cliffhanger strong.
Oh, it really did. Yeah, I can't agree more. What a great ending. Pat, you look very furtive.
I am kind of complexed here on this one. It was a shorter episode. You had all the beginning hoopla that they go through for like a couple minutes. So this 16-minute one kind of turned into a little less than 15. But it was packed with all kinds of good stuff and action. And that, I'm going to go 4.5 on this one.
You know, I'm going to let it slide. Anybody else going to let it slide?
No.
I'm not going to let it slide.
Okay.
I've listened to a lot of podcasts with you guys, and there's no half points unless you're Joe November.
There isn't? Oh.
He knows the rules. He knows the rules.
Yep. Take a shot of none such coffee.
Well,
I'll tell you what, guys. I'm gonna be. You guys go down there and just go ahead and start traveling down my way. I'm gonna be here at a 4.5, and we're all right.
Pat, let me make this easier for you. You want to give it a strong 4 or a weak 5?
I'll give it a 5. That ending was it's like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So the minute he shot and then boom, it goes black. It's like, oh. I want to see what happens.
Man, imagine if you were a kid in 37 and you saw that.
Yeah.
And then your parents like, well, we're going on vacation for the next 2 weeks. Like, you have to wait until the advent of VHS before you can ever find out what happened.
It's like that meme. It's been 84 years. I finally saw the ending.
You have to wait basically 50 years for VHS to come about before you can possibly see it. Oh my! I just depressed the heck out of myself. You know what? Actually, no. I think I read somewhere, and this may appear.
Was it on TV?
I think they might have run it as a TV show at some point, and I'm almost positive they did like they did with Batman and spliced it all together to make a movie.
Yeah. But even still, back then, like late 70s, early 80s, you still got to make sure you saw that in the TV guide to make sure you made time to go and see that. You know what I mean?
Appointment viewing, man. All right, guys. I too, like Pat, was on the fence between a 4 and a 5, but the enthusiasm that we've had in this conversation is going to get me all the way to the 5. You know, I think Ezra said it best, and everybody else kind of said it too. Just strong action with a killer cliffhanger, just a killer cliffhanger. Now, hopefully, it's something awesome and it's not something lame, like like when Batman crashed the plane and just walked out of the wreckage. Like, okay, I need something clever.
and Jared, like just Pat was giving you the hand signal, and since everyone else, I am more than willing. Like you don't even have to twist my arm on this to give it a bump up to a 5.
Oh, he's getting on the train, Pat. He's on the train.
5 cool guys.
Everybody get up.
Yeah.
Woo. I will make you get down. Yeah. Look at us. Just having so much fun talking about Zorro. All right. Well, this is, I think, our highest rated team episode so far. Got the Gatling gun, although he didn't light anybody up with it. But
that's true.
It was pretty cool.
We got to at least see him, that position of him getting ready to fire.
Almost, Pat. Almost. Let's go ahead and get to the California Yucatan Railroad mailbag. We are thrilled to kick off these comments with special shout outs to Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who have joined our crusade. They get early access to special long box episodes. They get to vote on show content, free raffle entries, get to be invited onto shows, much like Ezra is on this one, and we're happy to have them. So these are the folks reaping the benefits and giving some much appreciated support to the show.
L. Alan W. Wright.
Angelica Wolf.
Auburn Elvis.
Bill Beer.
Billy D.
L. Bradley Delow.
Are you adding L to the front of it?
Yes.
It's way too
You
long.
caught on to me.
Braxton Underwood.
Carrie.
Clinton Robertson.
Captain Entropy.
Clark L. Westfield.
Dave Collins.
Battle Wagon.
L Battlewagon.
Wagon, it blows up.
Eric Hodges.
Eric Porter.
Ezra Gallo.
What?
Never mind.
Gary L.V.
Gene Hendricks.
George Meal. Already has an L in it.
Gerald Green.
Heinz K.
Django L. Unfettered.
Jason Keene.
Jason Lady.
Jeff Polier.
In fact, Jeremy L.
Oh, it's
Now
my
you
turn.
got to sing it, Jim L. Jarman, Jim L. Jarman.
Okay, here we go. Jim L. German, Jim L. German, Jim L. German, Jim L. German. I hope you like Jim L. German too.
I'll give it to you.
Jim Neal.
My favorite name to read. Joe Man Conan.
Joe Thomas.
Juan Watson.
Josh L. Strickland.
Candace Ward.
Kathy Bright. The MVP.
Matt and Lissy Passo.
Marco Ross.
Maxwell L. Traber.
Michael Minton.
Miranda W. Miranda's kind of a Spanish name, right?
Carmen Miranda. Certainly.
P.D. Devons.
Paul Hicks.
Rick and L. Jeff from Rick and Jeff Present.
Ronald Easterday.
Rob Morgan.
Samantha Maney.
Sean Urbanski.
Snake L. Pliskin.
Spidey 67.
Spreadsheet.
Steve Cronin.
Esteban Martino.
Tim L. Price.
Tony Pennington.
And last but not least, Toronto Cop.
If we missed anyone on the list, we apologize. Please keep in mind that we record these episodes well in advance of release. So if you're a recent edition, we'll add you soon. No worries. You can listen to We Missed You by sending a hate-filled email to contact@longboxcrusade.com, and we'll get it all straightened out. And if you're asking yourself, how do I come in on the Crusaders Club? It's very easy. Patreon.com/longboxcrusade. For as little as 6 or 7 pesos. I don't know the exchange rate. It's $1 a month. You'll get access to the amazing world of the Crusaders Club. Come and check it out. And if you don't have any extra pesos laying around, you want to help us out here at Longbox Crusade headquarters, just take a minute to write a review wherever you're listening to this, man. A YouTube comment would be great. You can go when we post it on YouTube and comment, I hate this show, and that will still help us in the algorithm. So, do whatever you got to do. We love the likes. We love the comments. All those things help us. Tell a friend about it. That's the free stuff you can do, or follow one of our many social media accounts. All these things help, and we appreciate each and every one. All right, folks, let's talk about the people who are going above and beyond and not just liking it out there on the social medias, which we appreciate, but are also sharing it, boosting the signal, if you will. And Pat, you can read our short but awesome list of people.
All right, Jared. First on the list is Rad Adventures. Woo, woo, woo.
Kirk Spencer.
The always reliable coffee and comics. I wonder, is that coffee? What was the heck the name of the coffee? None Such, yes. I wonder if Clinton has drunk None Such coffee before.
And by the hoary hosts of Haggoth, it's Doc Strange.
And the ever dependable Jim Meal. Again, any comments on the last episode, which was Sky Pirates? But I understand, because if you remember, no one ever went to the sky and there were no pirates.
Yeah, that was
It sucks!
Like I just said, we always appreciate your comments wherever you listen. But this time around, we didn't have any, so we are sad. But that's all right. As a reminder, the most fun way to leave a comment is actually to call our voicemail line and speak those words into your phone. And then through the magic that no one can figure out how it works, we will actually play your voicemail on the show. And you can do that by dialing 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone. Well, that's it for this episode of Saturday Matinee Theatre. If you'd like to hear more from us in the realm of comic books, action films, and more, check out the Longbox Crusade. Pat, where can they find that?
Well, Jason, I'm glad you asked. You can find us on all pretty much podcatchers out there. Just search for Longbox Crusade and you'll find us, or go to www.longboxcrusade.com. We're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube, all at Longbox Crusade. Go and check us out.
Okay, thank you, Pat. And do you like James Bond? We like James Bond. So if you want to hear us on our trek through all things James Bond, check out on our Majesty Secret podcast. Jared, where can they find that?
Oh, you can find that on most of the podcatchers out there, especially Apple Podcasts. It's hosted on Podbean. You can check out www.secretpodcast.podbean.com. You can follow along our James Bond fun on X at OHMSPod. We love to chat with you there. We got some good feedback when we asked for stuff on November Man. We got to read a lot of y'all's comments, and that's always fun. So OHMS Pod, if you want to join us for James Bond stuff. I feel like if you like Zorro, James Bond's the next logical step.
Yeah, I think so.
Why not?
Martin Campbell, director.
Look, Jason put it together. Director of GoldenEye, director of the Antonio Banderas movies.
Just saying.
Well done, Jason.
All right. If you'd like to chat with us online, we can be found at Pat. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Well, Jason, I'm glad you asked. And as you know, we are here at Casa del Vega. That means Pat and Dave are here. We're checking out Pat and Dave's Come Down on Them Tacos. And while we are here, we have a special deal for you. Come on down to Pat and Dave's Come On Down Tacos. And just for $1, $1, we'll give you a cup of none such coffee.
Oh,
none such coffee is being served at Pat and Dave's Come Down on Them Tacos. So come on down, sip that coffee.
Sounds good. All right, Delvin, what about you?
Coffee and tacos. I just opened up a new toilet paper emporium right next to Pat and Dave's Come Down on Them Tacos.
Especially since it's 88-year-old coffee. I don't know.
I am going to make a mint. You can find me on Blue Sky, DEERAY1977, Threads, Delvin Ray.
All right, Jared, why don't you wrap us up?
I am the investment banker behind both Come Down on Tacos and Delvin's Toilet Paper Emporium. I just get my 8%, man. Anyways, I am at Yard Sale Artist. That is X, Facebook, Instagram is all at Yard Sale Artist. I believe that leaves Ezra.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. And you can find me at Easy Rooster, EAZY Rooster. And I'm on Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitter. It's Mama called it Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter.
All right. Well, get your quiver filled with arrows and get ready to fight against taxation, because our next episode will continue our journey through the 1955 adventures of Robin Hood TV series. And I think we're all loving it. We'll see you next episode for episode 13, The Youngest Outlaw. The meetup location, Sherwood Forest.
Bye.
Bye.
Please remember to replace the speaker on the post when you leave the theater.